Okay, verse 14. And the Word became flesh and dwelt among us, and we have seen His glory, glorious of an only Son from the Father, full of grace and truth. So after building up about the Word and creation, and it being rejected, now he's speaking about this glory, the Word, this Word became flesh. Okay, so that's connecting now Jesus, because otherwise we said, so who is this Word? I mean, there's this Word, yeah, right, okay, so he's God, okay, but that's up there, but the Word became flesh. The Word didn't stay just up there in the air, it became flesh. And so as to connect ultimately this Word, God, to the man Jesus. This is where what this verse is doing now, is connecting these things. Okay, and then seeing the glory, glorious of the only Son from the Father, full of grace and truth. So the glory of God, that whole concept is something that only God has. Only God has glory, ultimate glory. It's not something God can share or give to anyone. Okay, we can't become gods. So we're never going to be to have that kind of glory. Even in Christ, Christ is a glory. But in this case, this Word, this Son, He had this glory. And the only way He could have had this glory is if He's God Himself. And then grace and truth. So He does not start off with judgment, and He's going to speak about judgment, but He's not starting off with judgment. Again, this is like, but we crucified Him, and now He's just going to come and judge us. He's saying, no. Glory with grace and truth. He just in verse 10, 11 wrote about the fact that the world rejected Him, His own rejected Him. Now, after all of that rejection, you can kind of think that, okay, man, that means that that He is now going to just judge, just throw everyone out? No. Right? In verse 13, he made, verse 12 to 13, He made a group of people who's His children. Did they deserve it? No, it's His will. The world rejected, His own rejected, but He made a group of people. He, from God, not the choice they made. He, God. And that is why it's mercy and truth, the glory of God being seen, the mercy and grace and truth, grace and truth. So if He said spoke about judgment, again, that's like, we crucified, so we deserve to be destroyed in this process. And they say, no, He is full of grace and truth. There's forgiveness. There is forgiveness. Yes, you crucified Him on the cross. Yes, you handed Him over to Pilate. But He is a God of grace and truth. The world rejected Him, you rejected Him, but He still made His own. Okay? Because He's a God of grace and truth. Because He's Jesus. He's God. That's a focus of it. He could have easily hit them with a hammer. Yes, you rejected them. Evil you, go to hell. He easily could have done that. But no, He's full of grace and truth. Glory, skinia, grace and truth. Verse 15, John bore witness about Him and cried out, this was He of whom I said, He who comes after me ranks before me, because He was before me. Now this verse is now here in brackets. In other words, it would be in lots of the original versions, manuscripts I found, it would not be. But I mean, it doesn't contradict anything, and it comes from the other Gospels as well. So let's just therefore look at it. If it's part or not part of it, it's no contradiction. And so John bore witness about Him, right? Saying that He is one who would rank before me because He's before Him. And to just clarify that John is just a witness, and that this Word that became flesh was before Him. So the Word that became flesh was before Him. Okay, and Jesus actually younger than John, a couple of months, 6 months younger, right? So this Word, therefore, there's only one way it can be before Him, is if it was existence before Him, but Jesus was born after Him. So in other words, He was there before Jesus was born. And that as well need to have people like look at me. And yes, He's coming after Him, but He ranks before. Why? because he was before him. So even though he is younger, and lo and behold, we've seen that so much in the study in Genesis, how the younger is the one that takes the whole story further. Okay, Jacob, Joseph, etc. Ephraim. But although he's younger, he is before. Why? Because he's ranked before him. Okay, so his rank before him was before him, but he's younger than him. So in other words, the only way he can be again before him is if Jesus was not born before him, was born after him, so he had to exist. He's ranked above him as well. So for those who are like, oh, but John the Baptist, like, I mean, there in that time after John the Baptist, he was this important one. They sent to him to speak to him. Like, no, he is higher. Not only is he clearly stating, I am not, I'm just a witness, but as well that he, about whom I'm witnessing, is ranked before me because he was before me. And so he's ranked before because he was before him. Verse 16, for from his fullness we all receive grace upon grace. Okay, so we are the recipients of the grace. Not again because we made a choice, not because of who we are or what. We rejected him, the world, verse 10. His own rejected him in verse 11. But he made a group of people. Okay? So it's grace upon grace. There's fullness, there's grace upon grace. Not our choice, not our choice. He's making it very, very clear to them here. Okay? You made the choice to reject him. Your believing in him is going to be his choice.